Finding problems, that's easy. They exist in every community. I'm Terry Springs, your host. We're looking deeper, and we are talking solutions, finding out how we all can make a difference. Lots of good things on today's show for you. We're going to start out with triggers for tails. Have you heard about this? Wait till you find out. It's got to do with shooting. Studio is filled with animal lovers today. Michelle Drucker and Shelley Dunbar are here. Plus, we've got the founder of A Home for Spot, Diana England. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having us here.
Everybody around here knows I'm a sucker for anything animal related. Animals are at our mercy, so there's never too much for us to do.
Never.
For animals. Diana, let's start with you. I certainly am aware of A Home for Spot. Heck, I've done commercials and public service announcements and things. You are more than welcome. We also have in our building downstairs Chris Foote, who is a wonderful dog lover. He does a lot of fosters. He's adopted.
He does everything for us.
He does.
It doesn't matter what it is. He never, ever says no.
He inspires me to help you as much as I can.
And his wife, too.
Yes, Chris and Stephanie, definite animal people. What happens in your life where maybe you're adopting animals and you're taking care of as many as you can and you're doing rescues? What happens in your life where it suddenly becomes a charity and a full-fledged effort? How do you turn it into a rescue?
Well, you turn 50.
Been there!
You turn 50, and then for me, that time in my life was like, I can't do what I'm doing anymore, and I got to do something that makes a difference. And what makes a difference to me is helping with the problem that we have in Las Vegas with the dogs, and 35,000 a year get euthanized. And so I just needed to do something that made a difference. And there's a whole lot of us because I have a pretty big team.
Just like Chris working downstairs, people who work with A Home for Spot are so dedicated to your cause.
So dedicated. They must be that A-type personality, because they work full-time jobs. They have families. They have their own life, and they have A Home for Spot.
Yeah. On the weekend, I know it's my day off, but we've got an adoption event going on. Yeah, it's a great group, and we're really happy to have you in. I want to talk also about one of the events, Michelle and Shelley, who came up with the idea for Triggers for Tails.
Michelle and I both did. It was something that we did a while back to benefit Helping Hands, and we decided this year to change it up a little bit and have it benefit A Home for Spot. So we decided to call it Triggers for Tails.
Shelley's idea. Shelley and I both have dogs, and we love our dogs like our children. They are our children. Basically, it's just a different event. It's not a golf tournament. It has a select group of people that we go after, and it's different, and it's been a success the 2 years that we put it on.
I don't think anybody's ever done skeet shooting
fundraiser,
have they?
Yeah, the Boy Scouts do. What it is it's a golf-style shooting tournament, and you take golf courts around to individual stations, and you shoot like you would golfing, but you're actually shooting instead of golfing. You buy mulligans and whatnot. We just decided, since majority of our contact base has always been in the construction industry, that we would target something that they all love to do that isn't the typical golf-style tournament. They get kind of played out sometimes, so we decided to make something a little bit different and fresh, and seems to have been successful in the past. And because we have a soft spot, Michelle's fostered a lot of different animals for A Home for Spots. We decided to target an organization that isn't necessarily as well known.
We got a lot of great rescue groups in this town, and A Home for Spot, definitely. I mean, I hear a lot about A Home for Spot. You guys are a good group. And you're right, it is very different. Everybody's got a golf tournament. I know I'm involved with one during the month of June for a cat charity that I'm on the board for. So those are really common, but a shooting type, since you describe it, it makes more sense to me.
Yeah, it's really nice because you don't necessarily have to have experience shooting to do it. At the gun range, they're all very good at the explanation of everything, and then we typically would put you on a team that already knows how to shoot. Anybody can really do it.
And the cost is very reasonable. Most golf tournaments are a little bit more expensive. This is a very easy, fun, cost-efficient event for anyone.
And the Pro Gun Club works with us so much on pricing because we've gone there and we've kind of developed a relationship with them, and they just really support A Home for Spot. So they've worked with us greatly on the buy-in.
They're really good to work with. They do a lot of charity events, not just ours, but they do Boy Scouts and several other groups throughout the year. So they're really good people to work with.
This is called Triggers for Tails. It's an event that will benefit A Home for Spot at the Pro Gun Club on Friday, June 5th. You were saying, Shelley, just a moment ago that you don't even really have to be a shooter to be able to get in on this. You don't even have to have your own gun.
Nope.
A lot of people, the first time they ever shot a gun was at our event 2 years ago.
Yep.
And they just enjoyed it so much that they kept coming back. So it is something that you don't have to be an expert at. Obviously, there's going to be people that come that are more experienced. and then you're going to have inexperienced people.
But I think that
it's
makes it fun, though.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I'm going to try to shoot that. Skeet shoot. And I've done it once when I went to Canada. And let me tell you something. I had the best time. It was so much fun. And I actually shot some glaze.
The only experience I've had with skeet shooting is when you're on a cruise. They always skeet shoot from the top of the cruise ship.
How fun is that?
And so the difference with skeet and how they shoot it is they have the 2 towers on the right and left side and throw the clays from that. And this is a little different in that it's sporting clays. And so you're going to each station and you get to have a rabbit thrown. So it might be rolling on the ground, or it might be 2 clays crossing each other and you want to try to hit them at the same time.
So that could be challenging.
Yeah.
Plus, you've got a barbecue and you've got raffle prizes.
Yeah, we'll have great raffle prizes.
And we have sponsorship availability as well. So if you're not able to come out the day of and participate, get a foursome, we have other opportunities for people to participate if they can't be there that day.
And donating raffles. That's always helpful. We have so far collected over $3,000 worth of raffles, but we definitely are looking for any and everything to appeal to all demographics.
Yeah, it can be small. We can add it to another package, or it can be large. It could be something of its own.
And there's still some time.
Oh, we got plenty of time. Yeah.
Triggers for Tails actually happens at the Pro Gun Club on Friday, June 5th. One of the reasons, though, that we wanted to talk about Triggers for Tails today, it's a cut in the price to get involved.
Yes, about $100 off for a foursome and $60 off for a single.
If you want to get in on that early bird pricing, do it by Friday, April 3rd, which is next Friday. So you have a few days yet to get the special discounted rate. Either way, think about getting involved, because for Triggers for Tails, you don't even have to be real experienced as a shooter. You don't even need your own gun. You just need to get involved and come out and have a great time, and the raffles and the barbecue and people who are going to help the Home for Spot. Would we go to the ahomeforspot.com
Yeah, we have
website?
it on there. And then you have it on your Facebook page?
Yeah, Michelle and I both have it on our Facebook page. It's on the ULI, Urban Land Institute website, because that's the organization that's throwing it essentially for a Home for Spot. And you can always reach out and contact Shelley or Michelle.
To sign up.
Phone numbers are also listed on the flyer.
If nobody remembers that for some reason because you're driving in your car and you couldn't write it down, just have them call me and I'll get all the information to them.
Get all the information through the website. Now, I've said this in public service announcements a few times, so I'm going to do it from memory. AHOME, the number 4, spot.com. ahomeforspot.com. That'll get you the information, right? So that's a place that you can go. Still looking for sponsors, still looking for raffle prizes, still want to get more people to participate.
And the participation, your entry, whether you do an individual or a group, a 4 or sponsorship package, includes 4 people, depending on what package you choose. The cart, you don't necessarily need a gun. You can rent guns at Pro Gun, or you can bring your own. You only need 1 gun per foursome. You can share a gun because not everybody goes at the same time. And the lunch is going to be catered by Captain Cook's Barbecue, including a drink ticket after you shoot, not before. You're shooting in the event, golf cart, and lunch, and a drink ticket. And then raffle prize tickets will be sold at the day of.
If you're going to have barbecue, I'm thinking I don't have to get up too early in the morning to do this.
Oh, yeah.
Or I do? What?
You that wrong.
Yeah.
Darn.
Registration starts at 7 a.m. We will actually also provide breakfast. Not a huge one, but just kind of a grab-and-go type thing. And 7 o'clock to about 11:30, and then we serve lunch and do raffle drawings at that point.
If somebody waits and doesn't get in on these special early bird pricing for Triggers for Tails, which is on through next Friday, let's say that they haven't signed up yet. Could they come out the day of the event, 7 o'clock registration, maybe do a walk-up on that?
Yeah, right now we're able to offer that. The event's going to fill up pretty quickly, and we only have about 80 spots that we allow. So if it kind of gets going here, we won't have time for that.
Might we suggest you don't wait? Kind of like a golf tournament in the setup, but it's skeet shooting, and you're moving around. You got a golf cart and all kinds of different interesting things happening. It actually sounds like a lot of fun, and you don't have to be an experienced shooter to go out and raise money for a Home for Spot and have a great time.
So we'll see you out there shooting, huh, Terry?
I like that attitude. It could be my first time. I think that you may have more than just this first timer. I think some other people might get involved because it's a great cause. Home for Spot, how long, Diana, has it been around?
Since 2009.
And how many
dogs do we have? We always range from 60 to 70. We've got about 50 volunteers.
Some of those dogs go into foster.
All foster. We have a few in boarding until we get them into fosters, but we try to keep that boarding pretty low because it's very costly.
What I've learned working with different animal rescue groups is the importance of a foster is not just to keep the boarding costs down, but also to get that dog used to being in a family atmosphere, bring out its natural
socialization,
social tendencies.
Like if you get a dog from me, it's used to cats, it's used to small dogs, it's used to big dogs, it's used to kids running in and out of the house, it's used to the vacuum. Really, you'd be surprised how many dogs are afraid, and it really starts a lot of stuff in the house. So every animal is really... What's the word? Acclimated. And it's a big benefit. If they're not potty trained, we potty train them. I try to leash train as well. I try to work with them as often as I can. I do car rides. Most of the people do stuff like that.
Fosters are really important. And I'm a failed foster. I get a hold of an animal, and there's no way I can let them go.
It's difficult. I've done it.
You don't want to. You love everyone, but you don't want to keep everyone.
Yeah, I kind of
I've done the puppies, and I couldn't wait for the puppies to go. They were a little too much, but I felt it was a good deed. I saved them.
That was huge, though. It is more, trust me, because I take puppies all the time.
It's a lot of work, but I think it's rewarding when you know that you're the first step to their forever home. And if it wasn't for you, who knows where they would be.
Well, they'd probably be dead.
Right. And I've also done the adult dog, and that was a very rewarding experience. And actually, I just met with her forever mother. She sends me postcards and texts and updates. It's a little emotional.
I like that. That's good to know that they follow up and they are with a good home.
There's a lot of really good people. We get letters out of the blue, long letters just saying how we have changed people's lives because they got dogs. And it took the attention off themselves, and they had to put it on something else to love, and it brought them out of whatever they were going through at that time. We do greet and meets, we interview, we home check. If we find out we made that mistake, I'll go get the dog because then they're in breach of their contract. You can tell a lot by a person by the way that they live, a whole bunch.
So those home visits help.
I believe they help. Makes me feel better.
From everything that I've heard about Home for Spot, and being that I do have somebody who works downstairs who's closely involved with your group, I think that they really, really work hard. I think that the efforts that you put into vetting a potential owner, a Home for Spot does a really good job from everybody that I've come across. You guys are so dedicated. And there are other reasons, too, why an animal might need a foster home. I've come across animals in recent months who have lost their owner. Maybe their owner passes away, and suddenly this animal has nowhere to go. There's a lot of reasons why. There are reasons why a dog or cat, through no fault of their own, needs another home. So it's good to know. Diana, how do animals come to you?
I would say about 80% are on the RO list, which is rescue only at lead. They're the ones that they're going to kill that day. A list comes to us, and when we have openings, we make choices. I don't do that part anymore because it's emotionally too hard for me, but like Mandy will do it. We were up to 107 dogs one time, and to manage 107 dogs in foster homes is really quite difficult. And that's because the minute I look at them, I'm like, I'm on a mission. I got to get that dog out.
We have a lot of partners, too.
Island Pet Hospital and Spencer Springs, they work with us a lot. Caring Hands work with us a lot. So if dogs are turned into them, they call us, and we help them out because they give us pretty big discounts. So we'll take those dogs, and we do owner surrenders, and we do strays. But 80% is from lead.
It's heartbreaking. I know a friend of mine is involved with NKLV.
I love them.
Yeah, I believe that there are alternatives out there. And
there's a lot of alternatives. Even just working together.
Yeah, everybody working for the same cause, the same goal.
You know, it is 2015. There is no reason why they should not be on the no-kill path anyhow. That's what everybody wants. That's another show.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I've made a difference if I help one animal find a home.
Yeah.
That's the best feeling in the world. Granted, I want to take them all for myself, and that's not really an option, but as long as they're safe and they go on to a new home. Triggers for Tails. This sounds like a fun fundraising event, and it's actually set for the first Friday in June, which is June 5th. Going to happen at the Pro Gun Club. It'll start early that morning. I guess 7 a.m. is when things start getting underway. Kind of a little continental breakfast to start with, barbecue lunch, and 7 a.m. to...
The shooting will conclude probably about 11:30, lunch, and then if you choose to stay for the raffles, probably 1, 2 o'clock.
Beneficiary will be a Home for Spot. Still need sponsors. Still looking for more raffle prizes. We've still got a few days left for that early bird sign up where you get a big discount through next Friday, April 3rd. And if you want the information,
go on the Home for Spot website or ULI, Urban Land Institute of Nevada's website, and contact Shelley or Michelle And Diana is also available for information.
We'd love to get you involved. Go out and do some shooting, do some donation. How about volunteers for a Home for Spot, Diana? I bet you always need more people.
Fosters always never have enough. People take breaks. If you're interested, go on our website and fill out the foster form, and it'll get right to us, and we'll call you for an interview. And I was thinking, how about if we give them a phone number over the air?
You go right ahead, and I'll also make sure that's on the Facebook page.
You can call me, Michelle. My phone number is 702-591-7455.
Or you can call me, Shelley, 702-423-7712.
If you want to be a sponsor, if you've got donations for the raffles, questions about Triggers for Tails. And as far as people maybe stepping up to be a foster for a Home for Spot, go to the website, ahome, the number 4, spot, ahome4spot.com. Triggers for Tails. It sounds like it's going to be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited about it.
I am too.
Michelle Drucker, Shelley Dunbar, and Diana England. Thank you so much for being part of today's Talking Solutions. By the way, all that info on our Talking Solutions Facebook page. I'm Terry Springs. Doug Bennett from Southern Nevada Water Authority has been here patiently waiting. We got a lot to talk about. Appreciate you coming in.
Hi, Terry. It's my pleasure to be here.
Gotta admit, sometimes I feel this way. I wonder if you do, too. Do you think people here in the desert take water for granted?
You know, we've had both cases. We had people taking its availability for granted, but in some respects, also the drought has raged on so long that people have become a little bit complacent about that as well. It's not a new shaking issue, and like you said, it's sometimes it leaves the news now that we're in our 14th year.
Well, we see the bathtub ring around Lake Mead. When you take tourists out there, you go, oh, that's where the water levels used to be. And, you know, because of the drought situation that you just referred to, we've seen marinas have to move their docks a couple of times at least during this.
Sure.
And we need to make sure that we're doing everything we can to conserve. What is the most totally out there or off-base thing people have said to you as far as their perception when it comes to water?
You know, it was quite contentious in the early 2000s when we moved into our very aggressive drought measures, and most of the public was behind us. But when people realized how that was actually going to impact their daily lives, I remember having a discussion with a woman where we were asking the HOAs to turn off these water features and fountains at the front gates. They not only are using water, but they're also a symbol that says a lot to the community. And I remember having a discussion about a woman who said that really was her therapy, driving through the gate, coming and going each day. And I thought, really, that 11 seconds, the coming and going, I thought, as beautiful as the fountains can be, how can that really be one of the most highly valued uses of water? And she really pitched a case to me that was the one thing that made her day. So it was interesting conversations when people started to realize what we were asking them to do and how it might infiltrate what they've come to know as long as they've lived here.
Sounds like that's her mental hit that she was presenting to you, saying, I get that I live in the desert, but as I'm coming and going through the gates to where I live, seeing that big display with the fountains, that just takes me away.
Yeah, it was a shock to me. I mean, and we do still have some fountains, but the fountains have been regulated. And so what we've done in a lot of ways is found ways to more than offset the water use. And so most of the fountains that you're going to see in the valley, the owners of those water features have done abatement measures in other parts of their community to offset it. So if they felt it was really important, they went out and they converted landscaping or did other water-saving measures so that they could keep that fountain running.
These days, when you see some video piece on Las Vegas, the first thing they show you is the Bellagio fountains in their glory.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a big difference between an ornamental aesthetic fountain, one that people find appealing or visually stimulating, and one that is a genuine bona fide economic attraction. You know, in today's conditions, would you see another Bellagio fountain, 8 acres of water going in? I don't think you would. However, once you have that fountain, the Bellagio has its own water rights issued by the state of Nevada. They don't take water from our system, but none of us that live in Las Vegas can deny the fact that every time you interact with tourists, that is absolutely on their list of must-do activities in this valley. So we need to look at what's an economic use of water versus what's a purely an aesthetic or frivolous use of water.
Every time you're around it and you see it, it's a wonderful display. The other thing, too, though, isn't it correct that that's not drinking water that they've got running in that lake and the Bellagio fountains?
Well, it's groundwater, and it's not typically very good quality groundwater, but there's some very expensive equipment in the Bellagio fountain. So they're going to treat that water and make make sure it's of suitable quality to be in the fountain. Also, you've got obviously 100-foot high jets of water, and there's going to be mist and so forth. And so you want to make sure that water is of suitable quality, that if it were to come in contact with people, it's airborne with thousands of people watching. So I wouldn't say it's garbage water and we shouldn't worry about it. It certainly is a water resource, and the way they put it to work there is as an economic attraction for this community. You know, one of the most amazing things, I came here from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I remember driving down the freeway and seeing signs that were as big as buildings, and I thought, how can people even drive here? I mean, there's like giant television screens with all kinds of stuff on them. How can you even keep your eyes on the road? And of course, you become desensitized to that pretty quickly. But your perception is that those resorts must be using an extraordinary amount of the water because of its visibility. And in the drought, we actually required every major resort to give us a water resource plan. How much water do you use? Where exactly does it go? And when we piled all of that together, we found out not only that they command just 7% of the water that's delivered to businesses and homes in the valley, a pretty small percentage, but that 75% of their water is used inside of the buildings, and that we have the opportunity to collect, clean, and reuse that water. So they actually have a very small footprint in terms of water resources. Their total demand on our water resources is less than 3%, but the gaming and entertainment industry in this valley produces either directly or indirectly about 70% of our economic activity. So we consider that a pretty good return on the water investment.
As far as the hotel, the casino industry, we know that they're a much smaller segment of our total water use than people really think.
It was surprising to me, even as a professional, when we collected the data to see how much of their water was used outdoors. The other surprise, though, perception is everything. The fountains, the swimming pools, huge perception issues there. But when we took all of those uses, we found that those uses took a back seat to air conditioning in terms of the evaporation of water. I was getting phone calls saying, you know, we need to turn off the fountains, we need to stop watering the grass, resorts need to do all these things. I didn't field any phone calls saying we need to turn off the air conditioning. But it's the air conditioning system in those very large buildings that evaporates more water than the wet water that we see when we visit the Strip.
Who knew? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and good things are happening there as well. If you go into these resorts, of course, everybody noticed that you don't hear nickels falling into trays anymore, right?
No, quieter.
But all these new gaming machines are low-energy gaming machines, and so the buildings are producing less heat through energy conservation, and that means they're more efficient in their water use for air conditioning as well.
So it all translates.
Right, it all comes together.
More efficient use of their energy inside the casinos. Even the slot machines,
right.
The video poker, it's not using as much energy, so there's not as much AC required to keep it at that wonderful cold temperature that it always is, especially in the summer months. But then that translates to also less evaporation from the AC system.
Right, from the cooling towers. So
I knew we were going to learn things from you. How about the biggest waste as far as the valley when it comes to water? Where is that happening?
Our biggest challenge is still landscaping. The non-functional lawn is a challenge for us. We did a study back from 1995 to 2000, ran 5 years of data on hundreds of residential homes. We also did dozens of businesses. And we found out that the average lawn in Las Vegas was getting 73 gallons of water per square foot per year. Let me put that into perspective. That's about 2 bathtubs full of water to water a piece of grass a little bigger than a sheet of paper. That's the equivalent of 10 feet of rainfall in a place where we're fortunate if we get something around 4 inches of rainfall. And don't get me wrong, I'm not opposed to lawns when that's the appropriate use. We need parks, we need soccer fields, we need playgrounds for children. There are lots of places where a lawn is an appropriate choice. Entertainment areas in your backyard. There are places where lawn is the right thing, but it's not everywhere. Through the 80s and 90s, this city put grass on every slope, median, parking strip, just ridiculous places. And then we put sprinklers on them. And especially in those kinds of locations, not only were we putting a ton of water on the grass, we were watering the street, we were watering driveways, we were running off slopes into the road. All that water you see in the street, obviously wasted water. So our mission really has been about not so much saying we can't have landscaping, but let's have efficient landscaping. Not we can't have swimming pools, let's manage our swimming pools efficiently. We want to eliminate waste more than anything. If our goal is beautiful living plants, well, let's find the plants that are best adapted to this environment. Let's put the grass where feet are going to run on it and people are going to fly their kite, and not in the parking lot of a grocery store. If we're going to have water features and things of that nature, either let's keep them small scale or let's make sure they provide some economic benefit to us. We got to make sure we're getting the most mileage out of the water we have available to us.
You spend more time in your backyard. That's where you're going to have the barbecue. That's where the kids are going to play. If you've got to have grass, think about where you're going to put it and put it somewhere where it actually has a use and a purpose.
Right, absolutely. Keep it functional. Keep it, obviously sprinkler systems don't have the ability to effectively water some really odd shapes. Water gets sprayed in a straight line, and so just the design of your landscape can help its efficiency. If you have areas where there's overspray, then plant strategically around the margins to be able to put plants that'll capitalize on that extra water. There's a lot more that goes into the water-efficient design than just choosing the right plants. Mulching the surface, either rocks, bark, something over the surface. We all know that when you were a kid, if you wanted to find a bug or something, you'd turn over a rock. Mm-hmm. Why are they under there? Because it's moist, it's cool. So when we cover the ground with those mulches, it keeps the water in the ground where the plants can use it and prevents it from evaporating so quickly.
That's some of the stuff that they put when they chop up all the Christmas trees right after the holidays. They turn it into mulch.
Oh, absolutely. Wide variety of mulches. We use a lot of rock mulch because it's very durable. You put it down once, it tends to last, a decade or more. But if you don't like that look, there's bark, there's pine straw, there's all kinds of things. Basically, your goal is just to shade the soil.
Got a lot more questions to ask Doug Bennett, Conservation Manager for the Southern Nevada Water Authority. I'm Terry Springs. Got to take a real quick break, then we're back with more from the Southern Nevada Water Authority on Talking Solutions.